This is Biz Dev Live. Thank you so much for being with me. We're going to talk about networking secrets today. I'm going to talk about entryways to let you get into your network, into the people that you're meeting with, into the associations that you're a part of, into the work groups that you're a part of, into the Facebook groups, into the LinkedIn folks and connections, how to actually connect with the people that are a part of your network, to actually connect with them and make them folks that are going to help you in one way or another in your life to get the lifestyle that you want, all that and more. Stay with me. We'll be right back right after the Biz Dev theme.
Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. This is business development, not even selling it. This is intelligent. If you watch it, I promise you benefit. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T.
So my name is Cameron Toth, and I really want to show you how to find more opportunity, more connection, more education in your life. And when we talk about networking and I add in education, one of the best things about networking for me has been getting educated on what other people do and how they do it and how they found their success. So if you look at networking as a way to get more business for your business, if you look at networking as a way to connect and have a more profound connection with people that are in your network, basically building community, those are two great ways to look at networking. And another great way to look at networking is educating yourself. I feel like I'm in university every single week. Thank you, Glo, for the lovely compliment on the BizDev theme. I get a lot of compliments on it, and I'm so glad that you enjoy it. Something that I talked about today with folks that I was meeting with. Again, connections, how I got that. Go on to Fiverr, find an artist that you love. James Dean did that for me. And so these are doable things. And by talking with people, right, and having those conversations, you'll figure out how to do those things and you'll educate yourself. So I want to talk about entryways first, and then we'll go into what you'll see in the description below, which is going wide and going narrow. In terms of networking in general, now, if you're selling a particular product, it really does make sense to be super intentional. And I'll get into that in terms of who you're connecting with, who you're networking with, and how to go after those folks, right? But let's talk about networking and just getting to know somebody, right? You know, winning friends, gaining influence. If you think about networking as gaining entry into somebody's home, and I know that sounds a little sus, right? That sounds a little suspect. But if you think about networking in terms of gaining entry into somebody's home, if I go up to the front door, I know if you come up to the front door, and I live in suburbia in Valhalla, New York, I don't have an apartment, so it's a little bit different. But you can imagine fire escape instead of side door, and it gets weird, right? But entryways, if I come up to the front door, or somebody comes up to the front door on my house, knocks on the door, whoever's home, it's alarm bells. It's not the customary place that people come, even though it's the front door. Alarm bells are going off if somebody's coming to it. So ideally, what you want to do is you want to come in the side door. If you're coming in the side door, chances are your family, you're familiar with us, you're where it wants to be, and entry into the house is a lot easier. And then there's a lot of other entry ways that basically, if you were doing in real life, you'd probably go to jail for. but there's a lot of different things that you can do in terms of digital, virtual, and whatever, of ways to get into somebody's home mind space in a way that makes sense. But the most comfortable way, and the way that we're going to really talk about today, is how do you get that side door pass? How do you become family with somebody? How do you get into a comfortable place where they're going to think of you when it's time to refer, when it's time to provide an opportunity, when it's time to really give some mind space to something that is going on in your life. And so going wide is a really great strategy. So in terms of who you're networking with, going wide and casting a wide net is really good. And I'm going to tell you why. If I go wide, right? So I'm not being super intentional about exactly who is, and this is compared to, right? I'm at a networking event, I'm at a business conference. And so going wide is the reverse of, oh, you're in this business. Okay, I'm going to pass you and I'm going to go on to somebody that, I actually give a shit about, and forgive my language, would give me a sale, right? That makes people feel horrible, and you aren't even doing yourself any justice. By going wide, by being very welcoming to people, you're going to catch a lot of fish. And with those fishes, you're going to have a lot of opportunity. To use the fishing analogy, if you catch a small fish that maybe isn't going to provide a lot of protein for you, you can throw that back in the water and catch a bigger fish. Now, that's not to say that the person that you're talking with is tuna. You don't know all of the people that this person knows, all of the opportunities this person has to offer. You just know a title and maybe a sort of look and what you're seeing on the cover. By casting a wide net, right, you want to open yourself up to relationship building with not so obvious fits, right? So it's not an obvious fit. It's not an obvious sale. It's not an obvious thing. But what happens when you allow yourself to be open to that, you can tell your story and encourage that person to tell their story. And most people have a lot going on, a lot of different things that they're into. And while not everybody is the most amazing conversationalist, what you can do is become a really good listener and a really good facilitator of great conversation. One thing is to make sure that if the person isn't being really focused with what they're talking about the weather, they're talking about kids, things maybe that you are not so interested in, redirect a conversation and either lead by example in the sense of telling your own story. So now this person has some entryways. So now you're giving them the side door to your house to make them feel like family so they can come in and be comfortable. And now they begin to start opening up their entryways into what they've done in the past, who they are, what their why is, because you've led by example and shown them the way. Chances are that's going to be a great connection for you, because people in general, this is my belief, you are awesome. People are awesome. And so if we allow them the opportunity to be awesome, that's amazing. And I often talk about, I know I'm on this show and I seem extroverted, but going into an event and talking to somebody that I don't know is super, super intimidating. So one of the things that we can all do to make sure that it's less intimidating is being really open to having those conversations. And when you're in the position of authority, if somebody's coming up to you and starting a conversation with you, what you can do is be really, really generous. And if you're really wanting to make the most use of that time, redirect, make sure you're telling your story or they're telling theirs. And if they're not being very captivating, they're not telling you kind of the information that you want to know, hey, tell me a little bit more about this background. Can you explain how you got into this business? And what are your hobbies outside of work? And some of those questions may lead to dead ends. They may not really open up. They may revert to talking about the weather and how they shoveled snow. There's always a way to try to pull that conversation to a place that's actually going to generate value for you. So I want you to If you're, not getting that, provide value, provide leadership, provide a message. Sometimes people just want to be listened to. And I know that you may not want to take on the role of therapist and just be the kind ear to listen to, especially when there's other people moving around on an event. There's other people that you could be connecting with in a day. So one of the things that you can do is just really be clear in your communication and say, listen, James, Stephanie, whoever, right? I really want to be intentional with my time. And I really want to know more about you and how you got here. This is what I'm interested in. Can you tell me more about this? Or is there somebody that you know here that could tell me more about this? And that way you may allow them to provide leadership for you. Yes, Glow, right? Learn to listen, listen to learn. And sometimes it's listening so that you can teach, right? So if I say to somebody that's struggling, hey, do you know more about this? Or do you know somebody that knows more about this here? Chances are they can be extremely helpful to you. And that is a way that you can allow them to provide value for you. So that's going wide, right? Now, that's something that I encourage both at a business conferencing event and in this virtual pandemic world where we live, where we're doing a lot of online networking. Go to a different event. I'm not saying go to, the same pot and place that you've been if it isn't working out or you're not gathering good connections, but go sample and try different things. Try to make sure that, especially if networking is a part of what you do, and if it isn't at all a part of what you do, I encourage you to include it in what you do for whatever business. Like I say, I'm meeting with so many people Tuesdays and Fridays. I meet with 3 people each in the morning. I stack those. I introduce people to other people. It keeps it to a half an hour, really intentional, really helps me in terms of meeting some of the people that are connections on LinkedIn and on other social networks. And it's structured. It's in the morning. It's at a good feel good time for me. It's something that helps me network on the one-to-one and keeps it structured and a part of my week. So I'm constantly meeting new people and bringing new information into my brain, new ways of seeing and doing things. In addition, by making sure you're going to different kinds of networking events, you're going to make sure that you're traveling in some different circles and you're continually hitting new environments so that you can get your message across. And getting really good at telling your story in those environments is an added bonus. As you continue to do that, your elevator pitch and the ways that you promote your business are going to continue to get better. I always encourage, on the other side of that, record your message, because sometimes you're not getting that feedback. So once a week, take your 30-second sound bite or your elevator pitch and record it, or once a month if you don't feel like you have the time. But it's one of those things, people that, need to actually structure their time better. And somebody says, okay, write down, the steps that you do, the things that you do in a day. I don't have time to do that. Well, you know why you don't have the time to do that, because you haven't taken the time to do that activity, to actually see if you're using your time wisely. And I don't want you to spend your time. I want you to invest your time, and I want you to invest your time wisely, right? So in these networking opportunities, they're great learning opportunities, great opportunities for you to sharpen your knife, your sword, your weapon of choice, which I think communication is one of those best of all kind of practices, because no matter who you are, where you are, if you're a better communicator, you're going to earn more, you're going to learn more, you're going to do more. All right. So now we want to go narrow, right? We've got the networking thing, we've gone wide, but now I want to be more intentional and I want to sell more. And I encourage you, go wide at first, especially at the business conferences, the networking events themselves. But now I want to be very intentional about who I spend time, because I have a limited amount of time in my week, right? So in terms of setting up your one-on-ones, especially if you're sales focused, going narrow, we want to focus your networking to goal-oriented connections. So whatever your goal is, whatever your sale is, I encourage you, think wide, think that a lot of people can help you. That'll help you because you'll get those referrals. If you're meeting with somebody that isn't a direct customer, you can ask, is there somebody especially if they have a lot of connections. There's somebody that is in the industry. You can say, is there somebody that you know that needs this service? Is there somebody that you can recommend to me that needs this service? And that's a great way to turn somebody that isn't necessarily going to be a direct client for you into a client producing source, so that you are taking that time and creating revenue building activity, right? The secret sauce to any of this, right, is follow-up. So you're going to go narrow. You're going to go on LinkedIn. You're going to search for the location, maybe because you have a location-based business, or at least a location-based search. You can look and see what industry people are in. You can do all that on LinkedIn for free. You can find people, really narrow it down on what people are business located in. You can search for posts on the given business and be in the comments and search there and find people that have commented on those posts that are interesting, connect with them, and those are potential business contacts, potential clients for you. And the same is true for Facebook and Instagram. You can go and find those posts that are relevant to your business, comment, find the people that are commenting on those posts. I always like going after folks that are active in social media, because you know that they're engaged, you know that they're wanting to learn about something, they're engaged in the content. Those are great people to really go after. And especially if you're trying to build your own media presence, if you're networking and talking to people that are commenting on other people's posts, likely they'll comment and engage with your post. So that's always a great way to go. So follow up. Follow up when you meet these folks, follow up when you set up the one-to-one, follow up before, follow up after, follow up, follow up, follow up. This is the networking secret sauce. If you discuss something in the meeting, you took a note down, follow up. If you said you're going to do something, do it. Sometimes it's the littlest detail where you said you were going to connect somebody to somebody else, and then you follow through and do it. Now this person is going to think of the world of you forever to come. And not to mention that other person that you connected with them with, if it was a business opportunity or something else going on there, you are going to win tons and tons and tons of brownie points. So never underestimate the huge opportunity in connecting somebody to somebody else, or following up with an email, your rate sheet. Can't tell you how many businesses that I've worked with, and I know customers have dealt with me, and I didn't follow up. I'm not perfect. We're all not perfect, but just making sure that you have your systems and processes down. Using Calendly, I have some automatic follow-ups that happen after the one-on-ones that are so nice, because you know at least they're getting that message, and then following up in some other kind of way, because maybe you're not selling something right now, or maybe you have something coming up, but getting those multiple points of contact to get that personal brand recognition with those people that you're meeting with is so important. And especially the folks that you've met with. There's lots of people on social media, maybe you're doing posts, but those folks that you've met with, they have interacted with you in a very tangible way. So the follow-up with them is that much more important. You're an actual person now. You're somebody that delivers. And the more you're able to interact with them, it goes from being just a person on the other side of the screen or the other side of a social media post to somebody that is an actual person in their corner, somebody that's rooting for them, and somebody that they're really excited to know and participate with. So follow up in concrete ways. If you can send birthday cards and all that stuff, that's amazing. But really just the fundamentals of, if you say you're going to connect with them, connect them to somebody else, send them a rate sheet, I know I'm repeating myself here, but this is a really important point. If you say you're going to do something, say you're going to send something, make sure you over deliver. Always under promise and over deliver. So don't promise the world, say you can do it, let me see what I can do, let me see if I can set, and then do it, and you'll come out looking like a rock star. Build community opportunities. So I talked about connecting people to other people. Create opportunities. Now you're building connections, you're building these opportunities. Create some kind of an event. Now, when I say event, that can sound intimidating. What am I saying? Do a big social party where I'm going to spend that? No. Create ways where you can bring your community together. It may be conference call. It might be a Zoom meeting. It might be a post where you ask people to share their Instagram handles or their Clubhouse handles or their LinkedIn address because you're on Facebook and you want to bring people over to LinkedIn. Hey, everybody that's got a business page on LinkedIn, please share that here. Everybody on Facebook, if you have a business page on Facebook, share that here. If you're on Instagram, do you have another account that has a business, share that here. These are ways you can bring your community together and benefit them, right? These are things that you can do to build community that are very easy. They'll enhance your brand and they'll help the people that you're connected with. So that is a great way to build business from your connections and go really super narrow, because as you do that, people will be highlighting things, you'll be learning things, and there'll be entryways, right? I started this conversation with entryways. You'll find entryways into that side door, become family with them, get really comfortable with them, and you'll make a lot of business that wasn't there before, which means more opportunities, more education, more money, more opportunities to have that lifestyle that you want to have, whether that's simply more money or more opportunities, or maybe different ways to interact with people that you were looking for. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please share with your network. Don't keep it a secret. My name is Cameron Toth. I host BizDev Live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. If you hung out, I'm going to tell you that usually I'm on at 11 a.m. Today I had an interview in New Jersey with Ashley Owens, and that will be airing on the 25th of February, 2021. So I'm excited about that. So normally on at 11, today broadcasting live at 5. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, Glow, for watching. Thank you, everybody else that's going to watch this later. I love you. Be awesome. Go wide, go narrow, network with everybody. Glow, thank you as well. And here's that BizDev theme that you like so much. Thanks for watching.
BizDev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. BizDev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. This is business development, not even selling it. This is intelligent. If you watch it, I promise you benefit. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. BizDev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. BizDev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T.